I'd like to talk to you today about a four-letter word in your mind, although it's really seven letters, and that's the word selling. Now, you probably had either a wince or a cringe as I said that word, and let's investigate why exactly that is. Think to yourself if you have had a child of your own, or if a close family member, friend, neighbor had a newborn that they brought home. What's the likelihood as you stared into that baby's face, or maybe rocked the baby in your arms, that you thought to yourself, this child is going to grow up to be one of the best salespeople ever? Chances are it didn't happen. What tends to be our thoughts, though, are that a salesperson is guilty for the sins of those that came before him or her. We've all had that experience. You're about to sit down to dinner and the phone rings and it's somebody trying to sell you something you don't want, you don't need, you have no interest in. Or in days gone by, there'd be a knock at the door just as you're maybe having a relaxing moment with the family, or you're in the middle of vacuuming, and then you have to answer the door just to have someone, again, try to convince you that you need a new cable TV package, or selling lawn service, or some other product that you really have no use for. Maybe it's even the Girl Scouts trying to sell you cookies and you feel guilted into making a purchase. In more recent days, you'd get a flood of emails selling you everything from some diet package to some subscription to a publication you've never heard of, or offering you some crazy opportunity to make millions of dollars, although it's filled with misspellings, grammatical errors, just doesn't seem to hold weight as a possibility. Or maybe you've just come to recognize that the image most of us have of a salesperson is someone who's very pushy, making you do something you really don't want to do. It's almost like that used car salesperson persona, which is probably an unfair slur to those that actually do sell used cars. But we all have this image of someone just sticking a banana in the muffler and trying to convince you that this car has never been in an accident. It's a dream boat, it's a beauty, etc. I think you know what I'm talking about. Now, business has gotten somewhat wise to this, and they've changed the name of the people who do selling on their parts. They call them now an account manager, a territory representative, a regional director. So it's not as if they're a salesperson. No, no, no. They manage a territory. Well, a territory is geography. It doesn't really require any kind of management of any kind. So what do? We think of sales for those of us who are not in sales, but probably even more so those that do sell. We think of selling as hard work. We think of it as sourcing. Where do I even find people who may be interested in what I have to offer? Prospecting. Now that I know where to find people and who might have a common interest in something I have to offer them, how do I approach them? How do I present to them if I do find someone who is an interested person in what I have to offer? And then how do I go through a process to reach the stage of closing the sale, making the transaction real, and moving forward? These are all new skills that need to be learned if you've never had opportunity to learn them. And for many people, it's rather frightening. So much so that they'd rather do administrative or office tasks because there's less judgment, there's less immediate feedback, on whether or not that was a successful endeavor or engagement, which leads me to the fact that it's very often seen as ego damaging. To be in sales means you're going to hear no. And being told no, for some of us, is hard to shake off. It feels like an indictment on us. They're not saying no to the product, the company I represent, but rather it's a personal assault. It's an affront to who you are. Of course, that's not reality, but many of us feel that way. And we see ourselves as professionals, as people who are competent, we're capable. So sales being this very much immediate result business, it's a show me or what have you done for me lately business. And that can be hard for many people to adapt to. And for many people, they are just uncomfortable talking about money. To be in sales likely means you're going to have to negotiate. And that, for many people, puts them ill at ease. It means they have to set a value on something. And as we had previously mentioned, they often see that value as being a very personal one. What am I worth? Not what is the offer, the product, the service worth, but what am I worth? So it's hard to distinguish or differentiate ourselves from what it is that we're selling. So what do you do in this case? How do we overcome that? For many of us who are surrounded by children, watch them. Children are terrific at selling. They'll try to get a different bedtime. They'll try to get a toy that they desire. They'll ask for a favorite food. They're forever selling, negotiating, trying to find the opportunity to get what they want by offering something in return. It might be, I'll clean my room. It might mean I won't hit my sister. Whatever it is that they're trying to show that I can get something by giving something. That's a great model for us to understand and internalize. So this may seem like it's a pure contrarian comment to make. I want you to stop selling. I want you to help people to start buying. Now, that may just seem like I'm playing with semantics, but I'm not. What I'm saying to you is you offer a solution, a product, some offer. It has to be provided to those that are seeking a way to achieve their objectives. So you're helping people solve a problem. You, of course, it means that you have to understand what their problems are. And that is really the work of sales. Something you already are very experienced at because you do this day in and day out in your current role. You identify what hurdles people need to overcome, how they can do a better job of achieving certain objectives, meeting certain standards. That's all you're doing. You're doing in so-called sales what you're doing today. You're just helping people reach their objectives. You're helping them reach their desired solution. We, of course, could go into a lot more detail about how to do this, but I think you maybe have a better understanding now. It's really not about being manipulative, being swarmy, being in some way less than authentic. Rather, it's bringing your authenticity to someone else to help them achieve their goals. We could talk more about this, and I wish you would contact me so I can help you be a better provider of solutions. And let's not talk about sales.